let's introduce what this is all about. So you made a Reddit thread. You're a new player. You grinded some currency. You said new player with a budget of 270 divines, struggling to find upgrades, right? So you're playing Righteous Fire. I think, did you link me your PV Ninja? I can pull it up quick. But yeah, you link your build. You say you're a new player and you have some currency. And you kind of got really flamed by the comments. Just everybody not believing that you could be a new player and then also have some currency. And it was pretty brutal. Like you actually just got bullied. You're like, I farmed 8 mod jungle valleys and got like 10 div an hour. And then everyone's like, yeah, sure, bro. Didn't know Faustus took credit cards. It's like, I understand people that were like, wow, my first league was whatever. But the people that are like, oh, you're a new player and you like did a currency strategy, you must literally be cheating. There's no other explanation. I thought that was like really silly. That's why, I don't know, like I've been looking at a lot of Reddit stuff, and a lot of discussions on Reddit when it comes to currency making are super toxic right now, where it feels like if you can make currency, people just think you're just like some crazy high level whatever. But like, can you explain, like, how did you get the majority of your currency? I see in the comments that you really you got like a mirror shard from a shipment, but like, what were your farms that you actually did?
So I started playing, like, first of all, like I was at home, I was like ill, and I was like 2 weeks at home and I had nothing to do. And I watched like a German streamer who was like playing the League Stars all the time, and I always watch him, like it's interesting for me to watch him. So I was like, oh, I have nothing to do, so I start PoE because, like, I don't know, I had nothing else to do. As I said in my thread on Reddit, I played last year and I watched this Z guy who plays along with me. I did like toxic arrow rain stuff, and I quit like at level 55 because it was like kind of boring. And since I didn't have anything to do, so I started again. I searched like, what can I play, and is there like a YouTube video where I can follow along? And then there's this Pox guy who plays like Righteous Fire, and I just leveled alongside his YouTube video and watched like this thing and went through the campaign. And after that, like, he has like an atlas tree in his wiki, so I just followed this and completed my atlas. And the first thing I did was like I ran deliriums and completed my atlas. And that was like a lot of currency already. Like, it's not like divs per hour. I never heard about this, but it's like I got like
so how much did you have how much did you have at that point? Like a couple div?
30 divines.
Oh, 30. Was this
because
before
like
you
I did
finished
like
clearing your atlas, or?
Yes, I did the shipment stuff with 1000 crops and dust, and like I got really lucky with the divs, and like I got 2 power runes when there were like 5 divines.
That is, yeah, that's pretty big.
There's like good stuff, and I had like 6 stack decks, and I got 1 headhunter card that sold for like 12 divines, and this was like the start of where I got like some currency and I bought some upgrades. Like, you know, I didn't know how to find something. I looked it all up on PoE Ninja. Like, I watched the top guys and compared their gear to my gear, and I was like, okay, I searched this on PoE Trade, and I never found anything because, I don't know, it's like totally confusing for me. Like the double corruption stuff, I don't know what it is even. I don't know. It's like 2 things on my cloak or something like this. Yeah, and then I just like did my shipments, I did my mappers, I farmed like some gold. I did like 8 mod glacier with the scarabs, who like gives tons of golds, like 50k to 100k per map.
Is this the Anarchy Glacier strat?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
The Rogue Exiles? Yeah.
Yes, with the uniques that drop like so much gold, and I founded like my whole city all the time. So I could like run mappers, and I could run my shipments, and my farmers like are not all level 10, but they are like close to it. So I had like all the currency and the gold to send them out. And that's what I did like every day, because I was home all the time because I was ill. So yeah, that's like how I got my currency. And I got like, now I'm saving for the 50 mil shipments. I think you saw that on Reddit, like people do this 50 mil shipment stuff.
Yeah, I still don't even know if that's like kind of a meme or not. If that's like excessive, or if it's better for 10. But dude, I've got my crops ready. I'm about to do my own 50 mil today.
Yeah, same. So like I'm saving up for this, but I got like one big shipment before the patch, And then I got like 2 div shards, or not div shards, the mirror shards, and yeah, that's like the big spike. I got the currency, but as I said, I have like 270 divine currency. Is like my wealthy exile currency. Like I had not 270 divs, so I had to sell like all my T70 maps and stuff like this, and all. So that's what was my whole currency if I sold everything I had in my stash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Yeah,
how I
programs like
started.
that are
And
really big, right? Like
yes,
you use Wealthy Exile, I do PoE Exchange, but yeah, any of the programs where it's just like, it's your stash tabs, tells you how much you've got where, right? Like even just like knowing what scarabs are good is so crazy. And like seeing like, oh, I have 35 Divination Scarab of the Cloister. Wow, that's a divine right
yes,
there. And then you just go to Faustus and you sell it. Like
yeah, that's what I
it's so
that's
freaking
what I
easy.
did. I had like a tattoo that was like worth 3 divines and stuff. I didn't know I had it. I didn't know even
Mm-hmm.
is it any worse. So I just sold it to the gold guy and make my currency. And that's like pretty much all I did. And now I'm just farming 8 mods jungle valleys. If I need gold, I farm like 8 mobs glacier maps with the scarabs. And that's like all I did. And yeah. Then I asked Reddit like how can I find upgrades or what can I do? And then yeah, I got flamed like I don't know, like I'm the worst player ever, or RMT or stuff like this.
Yeah, that I found it kind of silly that they thought you were RMTing because let's see, one of these comments was like so crazy talking about your gear, uh, as if you had like some really crazy shit. Let's see, endgame strategies. Yeah, also. Yeah, because like let's look at your gear. At the time of the post, you had a double corrupted cloak, and that was like as crazy as it got. You got +2 to your skill gems and then 40 increased damage. I'm guessing you paid like
Yep.
20 or 30 div for that or something.
Yes.
Yeah, so like that is, that's kind of expensive, right? Like, okay, sure, he's got that. But then your other slots, like, it kind of just looks like you don't really know what you're doing. Sure, that's going to happen with like swipers or whatever, but you need more than just
Yeah,
like,
but
he's like kind of bad with his gear choices where he like overspent on his body armor, but his amulet still only has 10 dot multi, which you have upgraded. I did notice that you've got like a
so
+2 with dot multi now, but like,
so one thing before I the Pox guy, I don't know if you know him, the
mhm.
chieftain guy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I sent him my PoE trade or my PoE build thing, and he reviewed it on stream. And he said like, do this, do that, take care of that, and all of this. And this helped me a lot as a
Mhm.
player because I didn't know anything about this, and he helped me a lot. And I went from like 700k to like 2.3 million,
Yeah,
and
you've got
now
like
I'm
a
like at
fucking
5.
archdemon crown now.
Yeah, I'm like at 5 million DPS right now because I paid like, I don't know, 90 divs for this. And I got this amulet too and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But this is like, I just compare the items from top players and I search this on PoE Trade. I'm now more brained than last week. And now I know how to search and I have like the add-on where I can like, don't have to type it all in and stuff like this. So it's kind of easier now.
Mhm. Yeah, you just needed like some assistance figuring it out first.
Yeah,
The
and that's
searching is
like
a little
the whole
tricky.
thing.
Like using
Yeah, I know.
tilde, looking up whatever, like substitutions and counts, and like the whole fucking nine. Yeah, this is it's looking a lot better. That helmet and amulet is pretty juicy, dude.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I got like I got this div card with shards, like I don't know what the name is. Like
Is
you
it the
get
mirror
like
shard card?
yeah, I got like 2
Yeah, it's
from
pretty
them from
crazy.
strong boxes.
Yeah, the
So
strong boxes
like
can
it
be
adds
very
all up.
spiky.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what these guys are doing or if they are like I don't know
Yeah,
playing
so
the game like
what do you think? What do you think? Like your good faith interpretation of like their reaction. What do you think is going on in their head? Like why did they react
I
like
think
this?
like beside like all the streamers, I didn't watch any streamers besides this Rocks guy and you now because you're kind of cool. And
Check your PayPal.
I think like
Plus $5 for that.
I think like a lot of people who commented there are like I don't know bad players. I think they
Mm-hmm.
saw PoE and I think this is like a bachelor course where you need to like 3 years to understand anything. But if you like take the time, like take some time and read through comments or watch a video, it's like you can understand it if you're not like brain damaged. It's kind of harsh to say that, but I think like a lot of streamers and YouTubers explain a lot of things really good. And if you like take the time and want to learn something, I think it's kind of easy to understand. Like my next step is like bring this guy to level 100 and then like do the campaign without handheld stuff. Like I do like the LS Slayer stuff and level again. Like try to go through the campaign and complete it all without handheld. That I next league I can, I don't know, start fresh and go through maps really fast and make my budget like the top players who makes like mirrors like week 2, you know?
Yeah, so this is a good question. How many hours do you think you farmed for like your divines or whatever? You know, actual like farming time after your void stones and all of that. Like once you got some atlas trees together and you kind of had that figured out.
So one thing I have to say, I did like 2 void stones alone. I didn't even know what void stones are in the beginning. I put them left side. I didn't even put them in the right slot. It was like in the left side where when I auto click it. Yes, and what was like, what the is this shit? And then I ran like 40 beach maps and nothing happens. And then I watched another video and like, oh, I have to put them there. And the other 2 void stones, I don't know, the feared one and one Uber stuff. I didn't know how to do them. So I watched in the forbidden Discord that no one wants to talk about. And there was like some carry guys.
Oh, TFT,
And yeah, and they sold them for like 60 cars. And I was like, okay, bro, I don't want to handle or cripple myself here. And I want juicy stuff too. And that's it. So
getting your void stones is big. You know, for 60 chaos is definitely worth it.
So I have like 204 hours on record in Steam now on Path of Exile. That's like all my time. And I think like, I don't know, 30 hours from this was like before I started like 3 weeks ago. And my recent activity is like, because I was like at home and had a lot of time, I have like 91 hours past 2 weeks. So the last 2 weeks since I got like to the maps I am and farming like Jungle Valley and stuff, I think like it's 90 hours. And I think it's reasonable to have this kind of currency.
Yeah, so 90 hours past your void stones. Yeah, that's pretty, that's a lot of gaming, you know? Like, goddamn, dude. It's you know, over 2 weeks. It's like a full work week. I mean, you were sick and all that. It kind of makes sense, right? You know,
yes,
you got
I'm
time to
like
play
I'm
every
working
single day.
like last week again, but I'm just grinding when I'm home on the weekends because it's like really fun. I don't know, the first time you played this game, I think you like did the same like everyone else for things like this.
Yeah, so you know, everybody has that kind of start where it's like, I don't know how to level. Maybe you do it, you kind of suck. You figure some mapping stuff. You know, you're like, okay, now my build's good enough for, you know, white maps. And then you do upgrades in this yellow maps. And then red maps are kind of rough, right? And you kind of like pushed past that. And Righteous Fire probably helped out a lot, right? Having a build tanky on the low DPS end, but still, you know, things are so much more doable. It doesn't like feel so frustrating if you go in, get portaled, go out again.
So
and then you have like moments where it clicks for a new player. So like, where do you think you kind of like leveled up there? You know, like,
so the first thing I learned was like after like 2 weeks I ran all the time from the new town to the portal, and then I accidentally pressed F5 and I went teleported to my hideout. That was like save time so much, you know? And like
you were running your
there's,
maps out of the epilogue?
No. I mean, when you go to town, the new town with the ships, and I pressed F5 and it teleported to my hideout.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
That was like,
okay.
Yeah, that was like mind blowing. Like there's like hotkeys for stuff like this, but I think like I'm searching for the regex now because I just ripped sometimes in my maps, and I figured out, okay, why do I die? And then I looked at the mods and stuff like this, and I changed my regex for the map buying and stuff like this. This is like the small things, and
Yes.
yeah, it adds
A
all
really
up.
nice site for that, by the way, is poe.re, poe.re. I'll link it to you.
Yeah,
quick.
that's what I'm using. And
you're using this? Perfect.
Yeah.
It makes it so easy. Yeah.
But the one thing I miss is like my teleport gem in my scepter, because now I have to carry like my town portals again. That's like a big downgrade.
You just press T or set
Yeah,
to
I
a
know,
default
but
key.
the portal teleport was good for inventory space, so that's like, I don't know.
It's like a slot. Whatever.
Yeah, but I learned like
I'd
every
rather
day
have
new
my
stuff.
gem socket than one inventory spot.
I don't know what I had to do in there, so it's like I upgraded it, by the way, now.
Well, so okay, so like where do you think? So you're like kind of bumbling around. Your void stones are fucked up. You're realizing this. When were you finding that moment where your build's comfortable enough and you're actually starting to make currency? Like how long do you think that took? Because I think that's what happens to a lot of people is their build is kind of like mid and they're doing some maps and it's not totally comfortable, it's kind of doable, but they have this like fear. And I don't know if you had this too, but it's like your first few chaos, you know, like your first 50 chaos. Maybe you get like a div or two from your shipment, and they'll just like hold on to those for dear life in case the build is bad and they like need to re-roll and like hope that the next one would actually like make the mapping fine. I think a lot of people get stuck in that. And do you think that happened to you, or were you kind of just like buying upgrades, buying scarabs, investing in a map strat right away?
No, also I think like I dropped like a headhunter card from my stacked decks. It was like 30 diffs,
Was that
or
super
12.
early or?
Yes. Like it
Oh
was.
wow,
I went
that's really lucky.
to like white maps, got stacked deck and like a
That's
headhunter
funny.
card. And I had like 30 divs and I didn't know what I have to do with this stuff. Like, I don't know. And then I went like on a shopping spree. But like I watched like some PoE Ninja builds, like for not level at 100, like for level 90, and looked at their stuff and what can I buy for my divs. And then I slowly upgraded my inventory. Like I had no chaos rest, it was like minus 30, it was really bad. I tried to fix that, and then I had like some problems with my dexterity and stuff like this. So I figured it all out, but I think like when the first time I really invested and looking people up, and I think I don't know if that's the right way to upgrade my gear.
Well, so
but
generally, well, you had the Pox guide, right? Did you hit like an endpoint on that, or?
yes, like I think when I upgrade, he showed me what I need to upgrade my
Well,
gear, like to the
no, even before then, right? Like when you're in maps or whatever, you get some currency, and you're looking at PoE Ninja profiles. Why not just the Pox guide? Doesn't he have some upgrades and stuff?
Yeah, he did, but it's like crafting, and I never did it. Like he said, like you can craft this and jewels and stuff like this. And when he reviewed my build, I always ask him, "Can I buy this stuff too? Like, is it like in the trade?" Because I didn't know how to craft like this. There is like a crafting guide, but I had no idea where the stuff is all, and so yeah, I was kind of confused.
Crafting can be a little bit spooky. You're kind of just like chucking shit at there, unless you have like very strict instructions.
Yeah, so I just gathered my currency, looked at some builds, and now I do like when I find something, I put it in like path of building and export it into my items and watch like my DPS and my health and stuff like this to look at upgrades. Like the first time I did, like I think everything was an upgrade, and now I just compare the items and look at my res and look at my stuff and like this. Like when you got the drill of it, it works. Like you know what to look for, and I think I have a lot to learn. Like when I continue play, but I think I got the basics in like 100 hours.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like a lot of it for new players to have that kind of like click is just having like a solid guide and then following it and like listening to whatever the instructions are, and then just like investing into their character and into a mapping strategy. And it sounds like you kind of got to skip that first part where you had like only a couple div, right? You got like whatever from a shipment and then some chaos. You kind of got to go past that first step, maybe even the second step there, where you're kind of like poor, you get a couple upgrades, and then you do a whatever strat until you can get some more currency, and then you invest that currency into like scarabs or 8 mod maps or whatever it is, right? For whatever you're farming. You kind of got to skip right to the having decent upgrades and then doing that. But that's like, for new players, it might take a little bit, but once you figure that out, then it's kind of just like, oh yeah, I just do this for a few hours to get my seed currency, right? So I can invest into some actual scarabs or some upgrades.
But I even think like without the scarab stuff and like the early delirium farm I did on like the first Atlas 3, like it was like good money. Like I got like after the void stones and stuff like this, I think like a new player can figure this out. But like the T17s sell for like 80 to 120 cows. and you
Mhm.
can like make decent currency out of this alone. Like all the bubblegum currency, I don't even think about this.
Mhm. Yeah, a lot of people get stuck looking for just divines or chaos. Where, you know, if you use when did you start using wealthy exile? Like how'd you find out about that? Cuz that's another big thing.
Yeah,
It's just like
I
looking
I
at your
watched
stash and
like,
knowing how much you have.
so I first of all I didn't know how to price my stuff, and watch a YouTube video like what you have to look for in like rings and body armors and stuff like this. And there was like someone who used like Wealthy Exile to analyze their stash, and then I just watched my stash and I had like so much stuff that was like a lot worse. And then I sold like scarabs for like 1 div and stuff like this to the I don't know, the gold guy. And yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, the auction house, yeah. It's pretty easy once you know like what's in there. Kind of like sort and see what your good scarabs are, sell those and do whatever with the rest of them. Or even like bulk selling all the shitty scarabs. Did you ever do that or did you only just sell them on the auction house?
No, I have like a lot of scarabs in my stash, like, and I just sell the one who's like, I don't know, for like 50 chaos, but the rest is like chilling in my stash.
Mm-hmm. That could be something you could do too, but I mean that's just like another thing to do later if you ever need the currency. You just like bulk sell all of them to some dude who's gonna flip and sell and do whatever with them, but then it's out of your inventory and you don't have to like do all the random annoying things with the scarabs, like 3-to-1 vendor, only shitty ones, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, like I said, like I think if you like invest some time and look something up, like the farming strategy I found, even I commented on the Reddit on the thread, was like Wealthy Exile, and then the first strategy I used, like that's what I did, and it's like rocket science for these people, I think.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. You have like it's like new player budget of 270 divines. What the fuck? Started playing 3 weeks ago. What the fuck? Like that's fine. And then it's like credit card league, credit card working overtime. Look at his account. It's 8 years old. It's like you can't have tried PoE in the past and like kind of fucked up with it and like come back again later. It's like you have to like everybody's just like looking for any excuse so they don't have to feel bad about however their progress is instead of just being like, all right, someone's doing better than me. It's like, no, he must be cheating. And you have like minus 17 downvotes here. I'm farming 8 mod Jungle Valley with ambush, an average of like 10 div an hour. I got lucky with shipments and I liquidate things through the exchange, guys. This seems pretty fucking reasonable. Like you're just doing,
Yeah.
you're doing like an Atlas farm, right? Like you get a tree, it tells you to buy these scarabs, you bought those scarabs, and then you sold the stuff that drops. You know, like
Yeah, it was
it's literally like, you know, a cooking recipe. It's a ingredient list, it's instructions in a manual. Like, you know, it really isn't, it's not like you said, it's not like rocket science where you have to actually like do some insane calculation, right? You just
Yeah.
like take the same nodes on the Atlas tree and use the same scarabs.
Yeah, I'm just blasted and play the game, like make
Yeah, it's literally
currency.
just playing the game. Yeah, this is crazy
I
too.
think
God, these guys are
I think
they're
like
just so like toxic and vitriolic. So you can figure out end game farming strat. Like, do you feel like you figured out an end game farming strat?
no, I just I don't know, clicked on a link and bought
Yeah,
the
like
scarabs.
yeah, exactly. Like it's not like you have like created a new and novel end game farm. You clicked an Atlas tree and then just took the same nodes and took this. It's like Jesus Christ. Like you can figure out an end game farming strat in less than 3 weeks. Like it would take
Yeah.
someone longer than that to figure out how to take the same nodes on one of 3 pages on their Atlas tree, but you can't find upgrades. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's totally reasonable. Like you said, like you don't know how to craft shit, so if you can't just like buy the exact same mods, you don't know how to do counts for certain res, so you're probably looking up specifically fire res instead of like doing res swaps, and you know, like you don't know about fractured stuff, so you're not allowing yourself to also get fractured, right? Like there's so many things for buying upgrades,
That's the whole deal.
but for Atlas trees, yeah, it's pretty easy. So, what are your next goals here? Just more upgrades, more currency grinding, anything spicy?
I think like I get this Edgar Low Taper guy to like level 100. Like that's my goal.
Mm-hmm.
I upgrade along the way what I need, but I think I'm like pretty tanky and like have good DPS. And I just farm my 8 map jungle maps like the Wealthy Exile says. Maybe on Reddit there's like a better, I don't know, strat I can try. Like it's really boring sometimes to just run this jungle belly stuff. But I
I'll
think
give
like
you
it's
a
really worth it.
I'll give you a Google sheet with a bunch of strats if you'd like. This is from
Yeah, sure.
Milky. You know, tons of different things that you could farm, some T17 ones, but even without that, the ones under what I've run so far are all like very solid. You know, you could farm stacked decks, pretty easy. Rogue Exiles, this shouldn't be too bad. Your RF's like getting tanky and all of that. There might be like some.
So I
random little
wanted
things
to
solve,
try
but
like the Katharina stuff with the rogue. This is like the heist. I don't know what's this called.
Katarina
With a
Syndicate.
yes, I want. Yeah. I wanted to try this, but like I watched a video who explained this stuff, and it was like so confusing, and I clicked like execute all the time, but nothing happened. So I just went back to 8 mod jungles.
Syndicate can be a little confusing, but the gist of Syndicate is you get a rank 3, and then you execute, and it gives more intelligence, right?
Yeah,
like a rank 1 will give
I just have
like
to watch the video
3.
again, I guess.
You don't even have to do it. It really is as simple as just like make them rank 3 and then execute them. And then for the safe house, you'd want them rank 3 as the leader. And then when you execute them, when you do the safe house zones, then you get like the mastermind intelligence, right? And if they're rank 3 as the leader of that safe house, then you get more mastermind in. But yeah, you kind of just execute and spam Katarina. You could do some fancy stuff. I don't know if you were looking at the Gravicious thing.
Yeah, I saw
that's
that
a little bit of a meme
this
farm. And it's a pain in the ass to set up too. So if
saw that
you are
with,
doing
like,
Betrayal, like just spam the boss. You know, she has a drop that's like 9.5 div right now. It's like a 30% drop rate. So pretty good, dude.
So I hope I convince you that I'm not buying anything.
I mean, you totally could be, but yeah, I mean,
yeah.
It could be, you could never, right, like, unless you have gameplay footage of you getting all the, right, like, clips or fucking NVIDIA shadow. But, like, it seems totally reasonable that you just followed a build and did an Atlas tree, right? Like, that's not,
yeah.
I don't know why that was, like, such an insane logical step for some of these players, where you just, like, did an Atlas tree. Yeah, like, right here. 270 div in 3 weeks from level 1 is far, far beyond the ability of any new player, especially one. This is so odd that they focus on this so much too. Like this, and I feel like this is the problem with the more casual side of the Reddit community, where they feel like if you know how to make currency, then you also are like really good at every other part of the game. Where it's like, oh, you know how to make it. Oh, you did ambush on Jungle Valley. Okay, that also means you know how to optimally find upgrades for your build in every slot, look them up, and or craft them too. And I feel like that's much less like, right? Like that would be a little bit suspicious if you had actually like crazy gear and you're like, yeah, I don't know how to craft. I kind of just bought these things. Like maybe that's a little bit more sus. Like, I don't know, your gear wasn't even that crazy. Right, like if OP was that supernaturally, like, do you think you had a supernatural league start? To me, it sounds like you got lucky with the stacked deck.
Yes.
Right, you definitely got lucky with head hunter card, and whatever from your ambush. But then beyond that, it was literally just probably like 30 something hours of farming Jungle Valley, right? Like you're just opening boxes and picking up currency and selling shit. Like that doesn't feel supernatural, you know? Like, geez, yeah, that's kind of crazy. Being really vague with how they made their money. Yeah, Jesus Christ. You even said, you know, it's just Jungle Valley, but you said that as much yourself. Yeah, there's some other comments, but yeah, this shit that was pretty bananas. So do you have, what do you think was like your biggest moment? You know, if you could give tips for new players or people struggling to get currency, maybe new to the game, like what do you think the big stuff for you was, you know, figuring out or like having access to?
So I think like a lot of people and like even on Reddit, like asking for like currency strats and what should I farm and what should I do and stuff like this, like stick to something. Like I stick to like the ambush farms and it works. Like I do it fast and I do the maps really fast. And it's like div per hour, but when I switch like up and look everything up and oh, this is boring and stuff, find something that you like enjoy. And if it's like 6 diffs an hour, but you enjoy it, it's totally more worse than like switching stuff up all the time and try to find the new shit. Like it's like 12 diffs or 15 diffs or stuff like this. Like stick to something and like maybe even put it in a stash and look what is really worth it. Like sometimes you got like a lucky drop and think like, oh, this was like nothing, but you like got a lucky drop and it was like really worth it. So just stick to something and play the game. Like, don't look stuff up all the time and just grind. I think that's like grinding gear games. Like, just grind.
That's so funny. Yeah. That is true, right? You just find a strat that's actually enjoyable, so you're not constantly looking for another strategy, or you're not just like chasing whatever YouTube title has the highest div per hour in it to
Yeah.
have the most optimal farm. Like, just find something you can chill with, and if you get bored of it, find something new. But yeah, you don't just sit there and spend 2 hours like looking for something. You know, just get back in and do some laps.
Like all the time, the clickbait titles on YouTube, like, of course they need the viewers and stuff, and they're like so clickbaity, like 50 divs an hour and stuff like this, farm
Yeah, it's
this and
pretty
here,
crazy.
blah blah blah. And
Mage
yeah,
blood
it's,
in 6 hours in my hideout.
yeah, like, I don't know, just go on Wealthy Exile and go on Strats and pick something, or like the Google Doc you linked me, like, if you like enjoy Delirium or like Harvest or I don't know, Rituals, then do this and stick to
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah, and I think that was a problem this league, and it was addressed in one of the videos I had earlier, which got me in a lot of trouble in a Reddit thread of my own. It's funny. I had my own little fucking drama thing on the main Path of Exile Reddit, but yeah, a lot of people had the impression early on in the league. I hope it's not anymore, especially after fucking fighting with all these bozos. But a lot of people had the impression that tier 16 maps were not allowed to use scarabs or make any decent currency at all. And that was just like killing everybody's brain, right? Like, they're like, oh, I can't use, right? Can you imagine trying to do some farms without scarabs, like your ambush farm, Delhi, whatever farm, you know, like with no scarab, you're just like afraid to use scarabs. You think they're not priced for you at all. Like all of this shit, like, yeah, it was just, God, it was so like brain rotting. And so that, you know, maybe that's another reason why they were just so reactive to you. But yeah, that's like a huge problem, is just people not actually doing a farm. I think a lot of people are kind of just like, they have some div, they have some chaos in their stash, but they're afraid. They're so terrified to spend it. And just like will hold on and do random elk and ghost strats. They won't like have an actual tree from someone. It'll just be like, well, I kind of like this, and I take a few points here, and you know, I'm like doing a few maps.
Yeah, before the scarab farm and like my first, when I choose the Atlas from the Pox guy, he had like, it's like it was Alk and Go, like the first, I don't know, 2 days where I ran maps. Like I did nothing. I didn't know how to use scarabs and stuff like this. So and it was
Starting
profitable
Atlas.
too.
Let's see. What does he have here? Website, written guide. What does he doesn't even link you a tree, does he?
Yeah, he does in the comments.
Oh, that's funny. Smart. You technically link it. Okay, so what was this? Oh, this is just Syndicate, Betrayal, and Expedition. A little bit.
And like the Syndicate guys dropped like the Unveiled thing, and I sold all for like 5 chaos. I traded 5 chaos and stuff like this.
Wait, for the Veiled Orb?
No, the veiled, you can like unveil the weapons and rings.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah,
that was like the first thing I sold on the trade market.
With your stash tabs or whatever.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Get your cedar currency. Literally just like any amount of currency at all. Yeah. I mean, this website, this has got to be big for the newbies. Just click your, you get your Atlas tree, you get your whatever. Does it give you a filter too?
I customized my filter from.
Oh yeah, he links it to a profile. But yeah, that's another thing. Is like, yeah, like you said, customizing your filter. That's something you could do a little bit later. You just like, if you just had the normal strictness, like all that's kind of good enough. But yeah, once you know, you can kind of start.
Yeah, it was totally, but now I just can't pick up everything. Like my currency tab is full.
A couple more questions and I'll let you go. It's probably getting late over there. So what do you think was the most annoying thing as a new player starting out? Like you said, you leveled at least like one character before and kind of dipped out, a Toxic Rainer. Do you think it's kind of just like campaign?
Yes, it was really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I like the campaign leveling was like boring as fuck. I don't care about the lore or stuff like this. I never read anything, and I just followed along what the YouTube video does, what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when I went through the campaign, I was like really happy to run maps. Like everyone was like, yeah, maps so good, one more map before bed, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And
especially
it
with
hooked
the town.
me up. Like, yeah, it's like hooked me up. This was like really annoying.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think it was more the build you're playing, or like was it a little better on RF, or is it really just like knowing that you're doing a campaign instead of progressing you know, like quote real progress, right? Like the maps and all of that.
Well, I had to do nothing with RF. I just ran through the maps, like through the campaign. I did not use any skills, like maybe some trap mine or what it's called, a fire trap on the
Mm-hmm.
bosses. But other than that, I just ran through with righteous fire and killed everything till like Act 10. And when I went to maps, like it was like something else.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like the meme of Chris having your soul at that point. Once you reach maps, game kind of opens up, becomes a lot more fun. All right, one last question. So with PoE 2 on the horizon, their focus with this is a lot better of a new player experience. Are you kind of like looking forward to PoE 2? Like you kind of got in the league right before PoE 2 early access comes out in November, which we've all been waiting like 5 fucking years for. So lucky you, you got here like 3 months before and you get to enjoy PoE 1 and then fucking blast right on to that and then league back to back to back for the rest of your life. Are you excited for PoE 2 though? Do you think you know, like, do you know anything about PoE 2, I guess?
I watched last year's ExileCon, or what is it
Oh,
called?
okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. The impression is like it's really slow. Like they don't show so much. Like I don't know if there's like the zoom and go maps.
Mm-hmm.
If like is it like slow like Diablo 4? So I played Diablo 4's campaign and quit it. I never played it after that.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's like if it's like this slow, I'm not gonna play Path of Exile 2. Like if they don't
Mm-hmm.
have the zoom stuff and like go and stuff like this, I think I won't play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of how everybody is feeling about it. I mean, like my personal opinion on it is like obviously it's going to be slower than PoE 1, right? Like you're not going to have Headhunter, Reverse Chill, Mage Blood, Quicksilver, you know, like whatever the memes are, Soul Eater, Leap Slam, you know, all the crazy shit, right? Like, but yeah, I don't. I would hope that it wouldn't be so slow as to be boring, right? I don't think, right? Like they want to have a fun game still. It's just unfortunate, like you said, like all they've shown has been slow, whatever shit. It's like all they've shown was Act 1 and 2 for like the last 2 years. I think we got like
Yeah,
a
I think
snippet of Act 3 this year, but
mm,
like you know this with the campaign, right? Like you said yourself, like PoE campaign, you know, you're kind of waiting for maps. With the PoE 2 campaign, it's going to be longer than the PoE 1 campaign, but they're trying to make it like a lot more enjoyable of an experience, right?
yeah.
And it feels like the vibe is like they're trying to do a more bossing focus approach where like bosses are actually kind of fun. Because like PoE 1 bosses, like you kind of just go in there and, you know, it's whatever, right? Like, do
Yeah.
you remember any boss, you know, being memorable, like from
Yes.
maps or in PoE 1? What one? What was it?
I think the most memorable one for me is like in Jungle Valley, the end boss,
Oh, fuck.
the spider.
Yeah, no
Because
shit. It's
that's
the
the
most
only one
memorable
I
because you
remember.
did 300 of them. Yeah, no shit. It's burned in your fucking brain.
Yes, that's like I don't know. And the one guy, this Kitava guy, bro, this guy's annoying as f- with a fucking heart.
Yep. Yes,
But
sir.
yeah, that's like the two I know. But the rest I zoomed past. I killed bosses and then I was like I have to
Mm-hmm.
go through and I killed the boss. So I don't know. But one thing to PoE 1 and PoE 2, what I be concerned about is like they want to develop both games, like they do PoE 1 and 2, like they don't abandon PoE 1, but I think it's fine. But
Yeah.
I don't think they have the resources for like have a good two games. Like it's like half baked stuff and I don't know. It's like now we have PoE 1, like they have like focus on that and like PoE 2 of course, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
think like they can maintain two games on this quality like PoE 1.
Seems like PoE 1's been less of a focus. And my copium is that it's only because they're developing from the base up PoE 2 and putting like all their effort into it. And then hopefully once it's out, right? Like I would imagine that developing a new league is going to take less resources than developing the entire game.
Yeah.
I know some people are going to spam Clueless. I don't know why the fuck you'd spam that. Okay. I don't know why you'd spam that. Obviously, creating a whole fucking game is going to take more developer resources than making a league. Okay. Adding a few gems and a couple uniques versus adding literally every boss, every unique, every gem, every balance change, every decision. Right. But yeah, that's my cope at least. We'll see come November. But yeah, I mean, you kind of got the worries everybody else has. Did you adopt those from your German streamer?
No, like he's bad too. He's not good in this game, but I just watched like
What is
XCon and
that?
saw
So
some.
yeah, what does that mean for
Huh?
you? Bad? You don't have to say who he is or whatever, but like what in
He
your mind
completes
makes
it,
him
yeah,
bad?
he completes the campaign and does like red maps and then quits the league. That's like
Hmm.
all he does. Like I
Hmm.
like him personally, like his personality, he's like funny guy, but
Hmm.
like holy shit, man, this guy played this game for like 2,000 hours, but it's like really bad.
Hmm. He needs more currency. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got the bigger EP and you got 270, better than Streamer Man. That is how it works.
Yeah.
Now you just got to get the cool Streamer Man belt, get your Mage Blood, and start blasting. Yeah, good luck with that though. I don't think Pox has a Mage Blood set up. He's trolling them Pewee Ninja profiles. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on. That was
Yeah,
fun.
thanks a
Get
lot
your
for having me here.
perspective. A new player that's figured out how to play the game and surpass even the streamer that he watches. All right, man. Any last
Okay.
words?
Yeah, thanks for having me here. Have a good night or good stream and enjoy your time.
Thank you, man. All right. Peace, brother.
Bye bye.
Good luck.
Ciao.
Ciao? Hmm? Is he French? Yeah, holy Bay Sado.